for the 2003 practice test, the rest of the video from question 9 onwards. So we've got the graph of the function below, and we're up to the point where I know that the my b value and my c value, because we know the endpoint is -3, 1. So it's shifted -1 to the left and 3 up. So that must be +1 and that must be +3. Now, if I sub in the 0.01, because we already know our B and C value, we need to find our A value. So when Y is 1, my X is 0. So I'm left with a 1 inside the square root. So the square root of 1 is just 1, so which means we've got 1 equals A plus 3. So A equals -2. Okay. So when A equals -2, we already know our B and C value. So A is -2, B equals 1, and C equals 3. Now, for question 9, I'll go over it. We know a child slide is shown on the right. It commences at 200. So it commences at 200. If I draw a quick diagram here, it commences at 200. So 200 is up here, and then it finishes here because it doesn't go completely off the ground. It's 12.5 centimeters off the ground. And where that occurs, it's when it's 4 meters horizontal. So this endpoint here is 4, 12.5. Okay, so I'm subbing these two values in to the equation. So when I sub in 200, 0 to 100, when y is 200, x is 0, so that's 0. So you get 400 divided by a on b squared. And then I know that when y is 12.5, x is 4, so I've subbed in 4 into the equation. I get these two equations. Now what I've done is I've multiplied both sides by, I want to get rid of the fraction, so I multiply both sides by ab squared. So when I multiply by ab squared on both sides, I get ab squared on this side equals 400. I did the similar thing here. I multiply both sides by a brackets b, 4 plus b squared. So we get 12.5a times plus b, 4 plus b squared equals 400. Now this is the trick. Because I want to eliminate one of the variables, the only way to get rid of an a, or an a here, is to divide it. Okay, so I divide equation 1 by equation 2. 200 divided by 12.5 is 16. And then we've got b divided by 4 plus b squared. So I haven't changed that. That's exactly what we've done. We've got 400 divided by 400 equals 1. Now what I've done is I've moved the 4 plus b squared to the other side. I multiplied that by both sides. I'm left with 16b squared equals 4 plus b all squared. What I do now is I square root both sides. So I've got 4b equals 4 plus b. I've moved the b to this side, so that's 3b equals 4. So b equals 4 over 3. Now what I do now is I sub this back into equation 1. So sub this back into equation 1. So I get 200a, and then my b is now 4 over 3. So 4 over b squared equals 400. I divide both sides by 200, so I get 2 on this side. 400 divided by 2 is 200. Then I squared this, which is 16 over 9. I multiply both sides by 9, which I get here, and I divided both sides by 16. So I get a equals 18 divided by 16, which equals 9 over 8. Okay. So I'm not expecting simultaneous equations at this level, but if you were to do it by hand without a CAS, that's how you do it. Question 10, I'll redo these graphs so we get how I've done these. So question 10, I know that this is a normal hyperbola. This is my y-axis, and it's gone down 2. So y equals -2, and it's gone, not down 2, sorry, it's gone down 1 across 2. So it's gone across 2, x equals 2. It's gone down 1. So I'm just going to put it over here. Y equals -1. And I know I need to find my y and x-intercept because I'm going to have an x-intercept here and a y-intercept down there. So x-intercept y0, so I'm going to move the 1 to the other side. Flip. X equals 3. Okay, so I'm going to have a intercept at x equals 3 and y-intercept x equals 0, so we've got 1 minus 2 minus 1, so that's negative 1.5, so, or 3 on 2. So I'm going to try and get the right shape. So that's negative 3 over 2, or negative 1.5, okay? I've got all the information I need. Now, second question, for this graph, we've got a truncus that's been reflected, and so it's now a fountain shape. And then we've got it's moved up 9, so we've got y equals 9 as asymptote. I know it's going to have a shape like this. All I need to do now is find the intercepts, okay? So make sure it's roughly symmetrical. Okay. So I need to find these intercepts. I've only got x-intercepts. Oh yeah, and x has to equal 0 so 2 asymptotes. So I want to find the intercepts. I move the negative 1 on x squared to the other side, so it becomes positive 1 on x squared equals 9. Flip it. X equals plus or minus 1 on third, so that's a third. That's negative a third. Okay, and we're done. Next question. I'll just get rid of this. So we know that this is a root graph, square root of x graph. If I now the problem is we've got a negative in front of the x, so you need to take it out to show the true transformation. So negative x minus 3 minus 1. So there's actually a double reflection. So the graph's going to look like that. That's the shape. We've got the starting point at 3, negative 1. So 3, negative 1, somewhere here, 3, negative 1. And I know the shape's going to be like this. Okay. I just need to find the y-intercept. So y-intercept x equals 0, so negative root 3 minus 1. And this makes sense because negative root 3 is around 1.7, so negative 1.7, negative 1 is negative 2.7, which is below here. So it's right. Negative root 3, negative 1. We're done. For the last question, it's a circle. So we need to do the calculations. So first things first, I know that has a center of negative 1, 2, and a radius of 9. Radius of 3, sorry. Square root of 9. So it's 3. And I'm going to draw the graph. So if this is the axis, then we know that the center's at negative 1, 2. The radius of 3, so I'm going to go 3 this way. So this will be 2, 2. I'm going to 3 backwards, so this will be negative 4, 2. I'm going to go 1, 2 down, so this will be negative 1, negative 1, and then 2 up. No, 3 up, sorry, which is around negative 1, 5. Negative 1, 5. I'm going to finish drawing the circle, so connect the dots, essentially. And you'll notice we have x and y intercepts, so we need to find those. So y intercept, x equals 0. So when x equals 0, we get, when submitting x equals 0, you get 1 squared, which is just 1, plus y minus 2 squared equals 8. Subtract 1 from both sides. Square root both sides. Sorry, that should be a 9 here. I've jumped the gun a bit. That's 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. Square root both sides. Y equals 2 plus minus root 8. And you need to simplify root 8. That's 2 root 2. Okay. So 2 plus root 2 here, 2 minus root 2. 2 minus 2, 2 plus 2 root 2, 2 minus 2 root 2. Okay, and x-intercept y0. So you got x plus 1 squared plus 4 equals 9. I subtract 4 from both sides. So you get x plus 1 squared equals 5. X plus 1 equals plus minus root 5. X equals minus 1 plus minus root 5. So you've got minus 1 minus root 5. And then here you got minus 1 plus root 5. You're done. So that's the gist of how you approach questions like those. So hopefully that helps.